Watching gods. But I never thought I would be happy to see the city again. Much less to smell it. The Harper safe house I spoke of is on the bridge at Wyrm's Crossing. Danthelon's dancing axe. Information. The Chosen have a head start on us. I'd like to know what they've done with it. You think me lonely? In truth, I prefer travel in a small pack such as this. Unburdened by numbers, we're free to act, rather than react. A little like the old days. With allies, every bit as peculiar. Give or take a few tadpoles. Would you? In time, then. Perhaps once you found a rocking chair for me to doze off in. That speaks well of your taste. I've heard my share of bad ballads about things I never did. If you have questions, ask. Just don't expect my answers to rhyme. It was Baal alone we faced in our time. And, bad as that was, he had no elder brain for a lapdog then. Help won't come from the history books, or from any old tales I can spin you. This is your story to write. There. Have I fulfilled my role as your wise and wizened elder? Don't tell me which. Against all life experience, I will choose to assume the best. Ask it. More than I would like. In my youth, I was a brief and very much unwilling member of a colony's hive mind. I felt the way they think, saw the world as they do. Foul, unnatural creatures who find the foulness in us and twist it to their will. But then, who am I speaking to? You have far more experience than I. I believe you. You remind me of another I knew, marked by forces beyond their control. The gods can grant power or strip it away, but so long as your will remains, you have the only weapon you need.
Soldier, this is it. We're almost to the city. First through Wyrm's Crossing, then on to the lower city. Oh, it smells the exact same. 10 years on, but still home. Incredible. You saw the extent of Flo's friendship. She'll lend you a hand, long as she can crush your spirit while she's at it. I knew never to let my guard down around her. She always made me laugh, even when I least wanted to. If she'd been completely different from who she was, we might have been real friends. Nothing worth reading. Cambion manipulation at its most obvious. I guess she did. Much as it makes me want to puke to admit it. Devils, you know. Fucking devils. They really screw with you, don't they?
Wyrm's Crossing. The gaping maw of the city. Nature has little control over what happens beyond that bridge. I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well. And Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves.
Wyrm's Crossing, the welcome mat of Baldur's Gate. This is it. I'm almost home.
Incredible to be back. My home. My city. Baldur's Gate is where I first raised a glass in toast at the tender age of 14 and got so tipsy from wine, I puked in Dillard Portier's bushes. It's where the flaming fist chased me after I'd stolen a peach from a cart in the Wide. I got a good chewing out over it too. It's where my father taught me to hold a rapier, to read books of law, to know right from wrong. It's been 7 years since I left. It's no paradise, but it's home, and it's worth saving. And you? The city's yours too, after all. How's it feel to be back? Wonderful, isn't it? Torril's history is written within our city's walls. Expeditions to the continent of Mastika gather in the harbor. The Church of Gon displays its most priceless treasures in the High House of Wonders. Voices raised in song on Returning Day. The heady wines at the Elf Song. There's truly no place like Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate at last. We should find Sharess's caress. Voss will be waiting.
Wyrm's Crossing. We could be inside the city walls before long. And I could be back where this all started. I hope so. So long as I'm willing to stroll right into the Mother Superior's trap, they have no reason to not tell me where to go. Not quite. Above all else, protecting our base of operations in Baldur's Gate was the reason I had to surrender my memories to begin with. Or at least, that's what I was led to believe. We should look for someone to point me in the right direction. Otherwise, we'll have little recourse but to wander the whole city searching. I know what you mean. And under different circumstances, I'd like that too. But first things first, I'm afraid. Wyrm's Crossing is a choke point. If I wanted to intercept a new arrival, I'd find somewhere before the bridge, blend in amongst the crowds, and wait. Most people seeking entry to the city will be refugees. I'd look wherever they're gathering. Good. I was just starting to miss the sound of your voice.
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword? Be most welcome.
Keeping very well, I hope? Look after my angel, of course. She's been through more than I can bear to think about. 100 years in the Shadowfell. 100 years being murdered by Sharans over and over. It fills me with a rage I can hardly contain. She's a formidable woman, my Aelin. But no one could escape such horrors unscathed. She's in my hands now, and I intend to help her through whatever's to come. We'll both of us stand by you when the time comes to put down the horror that threatens this city. We are your allies, for life.
As you approach Minthara, you feel her mind reaching out to yours, tentative and curious. Then it retreats, soft as a whisper.
Sorry. Old habits.
At first, she seems to invite you inside. But then a coldness settles across your mind like morning frost, and you lose contact with her.
Wait. Let me speak. When we first met, I did not think we would ever share anything more than an uneasy alliance, born of our mutual enmity for the Absolute. I was wrong. A deeper bond has grown between us. I trust you. But I would like to touch your thoughts again, now that my mind is my own. May I? Of course. I do not hide anything from you. Until my time in the cult of the Absolute, I had spent little time on the surface, except to raid and pillage. I did not expect to find any outside the Underdark who saw the world as I do, and wanted from the world what I want. I did not expect you. I have been told that I am special since my mother first held me in her arms. The burden of expectation. Before the Absolute, I lived a life of certainties. I knew that I was destined for greatness because I was born to it. I also knew that my inherited privilege came with a cost. That the bonds of fellowship and family could be broken by envy and ambition. I could not enjoy the taste of food for fear of poisoning, and I could not enjoy the company of lovers and friends because I feared they hid knives behind their smiles. In spite of the danger, I was happy. I knew myself, and I understood the world around me. Now, nothing is certain. Without Lolth, without the Absolute, without my home, I do not know myself. But you do, I think. Show me myself through your eyes. Let me see what I am to you.
She joins her thoughts with yours, and you are as one. You share in her strength of mind and formidable will, but also the doubts that eat at her conviction. Those doubts cluster in swarms, and the thickest is around her sense of self. She pushes past, revealing the image of her you hold in your mind. What does she see? Her mind cools. Acceptance is colored by disappointment.
We need to trust one another if we are to survive. But I want more from you than that. I want all of you. Now you can have me instead. As you wish. It is a rare occasion when I do not get what I want, but you have shown your worth in many ways. I will be satisfied to have you as an ally. Unnerving though it is, if we are to face an elf, the Emperor is the reason we have made it this far. And if the Gith Prince's suffering is the price of our survival, so be it. Yes, I only know it through history books and hearsay. A city of murder and grief. I expect it will live up to its legend. From the still, dark waters of Lake Donegarten to the black academies of Tierbresh, it is a city of wonders and terror. But it is not my home anymore. If I were to return, I would be denied all of its wonders and shown only the terror. For my people, to reject Lolth is to reject life. I am an apostate and would be executed. Though I am proud, I prefer exile to death. I am a daughter of Menzoberranzan's most ancient and powerful house, the Bainray. I lived a life of privilege and danger. My home was at the tallest point of Kuel-Arzol, the place of the nobles, a plateau high above the city's sprawl. I enjoyed every luxury, whether harvested in the Underdark or stolen from the surface, and I survived my first assassination attempt while I still suckled at my mother's breast. I tasted her blood that day. She covered my body with her own, and a blade bit deep into her chest, almost puncturing her heart. When I came of age, she tried to take my life herself, and I gave her fresh scars to match those she earned protecting me. Yes. My house trained me to be a soldier in Lolth's service, and my mother showed me how to survive the perils of society. She taught me to be resilient and to guard my heart from those who cannot be trusted, literally and figuratively. When I choose to let somebody close, I do not do so lightly. That gives a great depth of meaning to the bonds I do share. Then speak. Very well. You wish to consult me?
Civilization beckons at last. It's no Waterdeep, but Baldur's Gate is a respectable runner-up. Or at least a close third.
Thy wheel, dost thou require a new